It has been years since we have had Canadian prospects, Canadian fighters on a come up, on a streak in the UFC, and we finally have some to root behind. As a Canadian casual myself, you know I'm excited to make this video. We have a lot of fighters to talk about in today's video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the fighters that are on streaks, the fighters that I believe are going to crack the top 5 in 2026, the fighters that I believe could fight for the title in 2026, 2027, going on in the future. We need redemption. The Canadian fighters are coming in the UFC. Finally, we have some to root behind, some to follow behind that I believe are solid, are very, very solid. So before we go ahead and get into the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get it started. We're going to start off by talking about the most highly ranked Canadian fighter at the moment, Amin Zahabi, number 7 bantamweight in the world, on a 7-fight win streak, a guy that's being completely overlooked, and a guy that people are going to say, oh, he's boring, oh, he has only decision wins, oh, he's not that good, he's old, all this, but he's outstriking every single one of his opponents. He's got great, phenomenal takedown defense. He's got the best defense, boxing defense in the bantamweight division, the best boxing defense in the bantamweight division, and since the bantamweight division is pretty much cleared out because Merab cleared it out, obviously Jan is now champ, they're going to run it back. If Merab gets that belt back, the only people that are really there are Umar, Sean O'Malley, Amin Zahabi. There's not really that much at the top. If Amin Zahabi gets one more quality win, which I believe he can do, he just beat Chito Vera. It was a very close fight, but I was there live. I saw him marching forward. I saw him throwing more shots, putting more volume on Chito Vera. I also saw him live against Jose Aldo, where he did win that fight. People said that was a robbery, this and that and this and that, but Aldo gassed out in that 3rd round after almost finishing Zahabi. Zahabi's recoverability is amazing. He got dropped by Chito. He got dropped by Aldo. And his boxing is really good. And his takedown defense is phenomenal. He trains at TriStar with his brother. He's got a great team around him. He is getting older, but he looks like he's entering his prime. He looks like he's in his prime at 37 years old. At 37 years old, one more quality win. Give this guy a title shot. He is the closest thing we have to a champion at the moment. And honestly, I'm rooting behind him. I'm full team Amin Zahabi. I really do believe he can beat a Sean O'Malley. People are going to call me crazy for that. I think he could beat Sean O'Malley at this stage in his career. I think he could beat Song Yudong. I think he would have a very close fight with Umar Nurmagomedov. I think he'd have a close fight with Merab. And I think he could maybe beat Petr Yan. Like, I could see him fighting for the title in 2026. He needs one more win for sure. He's had some losses early in his career, but the win streak he's on is beautiful. He's been doing really well recently, and he's shown that he's leveled up like crazy with his boxing defense, with his striking. He's very fast. He's got a really good Philly shell. He moves and slips punches very, very well. So I believe Amin Zahabi is going to have a great 2026, and I do believe we'll see him fight for a title at the end of 2026 or beginning of 2027. I do believe Amin Zahabi is the best thing we have at the moment for a champion. A Canadian champion since Georges St. Pierre. We haven't had one since Georges St. Pierre. I really believe Amin Zahabi is going to have a great 2026. I'm excited to see what comes next. A lot of people are overlooking him. I think everybody's overlooking him. And I'm a Canadian casual, but I do think Amin Zahabi can beat this bantamweight division. I think he can beat a lot of the guys in the top 5 and have a close fight with them. That is the thing that people don't like, is that all of his fights are close, but he's winning those close fights. He is. As much as people want to say, oh, it's a robbery, it's in Canada, all this, all that, he's winning those fights. You look at the striking numbers, you look at who's doing more damage, it's Amin Zahabi. He's putting out more volume. He's marching his opponents down. He's making sure he wins the minutes. And he does have some pop in his shots. It's not like he doesn't have finishes. He does. So I'm excited to see what's next for Amin Zahabi. I think he will be cracking that top 5 in 2026, fighting for a title at the end of the year, if not the beginning of 2027. Amin Zahabi is the guy to look out for as a Canadian fighter. I think he's gonna be there. I think he's gonna be right at the top near that belt. I'm excited to see what's next. We're gonna move on to the next guy though to talk about, Mike Malott. Mike Malott, the true Canadian proper Mike Malott. This guy has made a redemption of his career after getting fraud checked by Neil Magny. You can't call it anything else. He did get frauded by Neil Magny after winning the entirety of that fight. 3rd round, 30 seconds left in the fight. He won every minute before that. Neil Magny gets on top of him, lands some ground and pound shots, finishes him, and everybody's like, oh, meme. They put him as a meme. They're like, oh, you got Neil Magny. You got Neil Magny. How many people have gotten Neil Magny? Jake Matthews got Neil Magny. Mike Malott got Neil Magny. Kevin Holland. Didn't Kevin Holland get Neil Magny as well? Like, so many people have gotten Neil Magny. I don't know what else to call it. They got Neil Magny. They got cockroach maxed. And that's exactly what happened to Malott. But since then, he's bounced back. He knocked out Charles Radke. Or he beat Trevin Giles, clear decision. Knocked out Charles Radke in Montreal. That was an amazing knockout. I was there live. It was electric. and then he beat up on Kevin Holland for 15 minutes, and there was some questionable low blows, but Kevin Holland was playing it so weird. The knee that Mike Malott landed to his cup, that was to the liver. You could see it live. It was to the liver, and he beat him up anyway. He almost finished him multiple times with the arm triangle, with shots up against the fence. He was putting on some damage on Kevin Holland, and he won that fight clear as day. So I do believe that Mike Malott has a pretty good future. I think he can win against a lot of these guys in the top 15. Obviously, welterweight is very competitive. Islam's the champ. I don't expect Mike to get to the very top and beat Islam Makhachev. I'm just being realistic. Obviously, he's had some close fights, but I do think he can crack that top 10 this year, and he is potentially scheduled to fight Gilbert Burns, who is on the exit of his career. I love Gilbert, but the guy's 39 years old, coming off of a few losses, injuries. I think Mike Malott can win that fight. He's in his prime. He's on a win streak. He's a great grappler. It's not like he's going to get out-grappled by Gilbert Burns and get submitted. I think he'll be pretty much fine just on the outside, kicking at range, pressuring Gilbert Burns up against the fence. He'll be the bigger guy. I think he wins that fight. And I think he cracks the top 10 in 2026. So I do believe Mike Malott has a pretty good chance to get up there in the welterweight division, move up the ranks, and we'll see him in the top 10 in 2026. I do think he's very good. A lot of people thought he was overrated, but he's proved people wrong. 3-fight win streak now after that Neil Magny loss. He's never looked better since that fight against Charles Radke. The Holland one, there was the weird, groin shots, but he did look good. He did look good, and he did very well, and he won that fight. So I think Mike Malott's going to do well. I'm excited to see what's next for him, and I do believe he's going to beat Gilbert Burns if that fight is booked. Don't know when it's going to be booked, but I'm excited for that one. We'll move on, though, to the next Canadian fighter to talk about. My girl, Jasmine Jasudavicius, all right? She did just lose to Montefiore. I'm not going to pretend like Jasmine Jasudavicius is, still on the come-up. She did just lose her last fight by knockout in the first round in Vancouver. It was brutal. It was terrible. It was a terrible watch. But I do think Jasmine Jasudavicius still can make a comeback here and can get a win in her next fight. If she's even fighting down, she's fighting a girl in the bottom of the top 10 or whatever the case may be, I think Jasmine can win her next fight. She lost to the number one girl. The girl who lost to nobody but Shevchenko, who was undefeated before fighting Shevchenko, who beat Erin Blanchfield, who beat all these contenders. So that's not a bad loss from Jasmine Jasudavicius. She was literally one fight away from fighting for the belt. If she would have beat Fiore, that was a number one contender fight. She would have fought for the belt next. So I was very sad to see her get knocked out, but I think she'll bounce back. I think she'll get a good rebound fight, hopefully, and we'll see her on the come up again in 2026. So I do think Jasmine Jasudavicius is going to make a good rise in 2026, make a little bit of a comeback. She's got great grappling as well, just like another girl we're going to talk about in a bit, but she's got really good wrestling. The Canadian girls have really good wrestling, really good finishing capabilities. She's got great submissions. I think she's one of the only WMA fighters in the UFC to have multiple Darce chokes, which is kind of ridiculous. She's got 2 or 3 Darce chokes in the UFC now, which is impressive. That's a really tricky submission to pull off for most women, because you do have to have a lot of pressure, a lot of power, and that's a great sign from Jasmine. She's got really, really good wrestling. She struggled with the striking against Fiore, who's a high level striker, who's very big, very physical. But I think we'll see Jasmine get a win in 2026, hopefully be back on the rise. But she is the top of the WMMA for Canadians, the top of the UFC Women's Canadian division in flyweight. We're going to talk about another woman in a second, but we're going to move on to the next fighter, who's a new prospect, Cody Kovanchuk. This is a guy that I don't think many people know. He's fresh in the UFC, just won his Dana White Contender Series debut, looked great. Showed off his striking, showed off his grappling defense against a high-level grappler who had like one loss in his career, and it was to decision. And then he knocked that guy out in the third round with a big overhand right, chinned him, dropped him, and finished him badly. Finished him really badly, nasty knockout by Cody Kovanchuk. He's got heavy hands. He's undefeated. He's gone 5 rounds before. He's got a lot of 3-round and 5-round experience, and that's a really good sign. That's a really, really good sign, especially at his weight class. I believe it doesn't say his weight class, but I do think he's 135. He might be 125, actually. I think he's 125. And 125 is pretty competitive, but I think Cody Kovanchuk can make some waves. Actually, I'm not too sure if he's 125 or 135. I'm not 100% settled on that, because I'm thinking about it back. I think his opponent was 135. So I do believe he's at bantamweight, but he is good. He's very good. I think he's going to win his debut fight, whoever he's against, and we'll see him on the rise in 2026. I'm excited to see his next fights. He's a really, really good prospect. Out of Canada, out of Ontario. So he also trains with Jasmine, trains with Mike Malott at Niagara Top Team. That's a great team who are all pretty much on the come up, who are all making some waves. And I do believe that Cody will make some waves. He's an undefeated Canadian. They're going to want to push him. Hopefully they don't push him too fast like they did with Malott, giving him the Neil Magny test. But I think Cody will get past his first fight, his second fight, and we'll see what goes on. But I'm excited to see Cody Kovanchuk in the UFC. Hopefully he fights very soon. He said he's got some fight news coming soonish, so we'll see what happens. But Cody Kovanchuk is definitely on the list for a Canadian on the rise. We're going to look to the next one, Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain is one of my favorite Canadian fighters right now. He's a guy that is funny on social media. He's a very funny personality on social media. He's a great fighter. Moved down to bantamweight now. We've got a lot of Canadian bantamweights. You love to see it. The bantamweights are taking over. We've also got Charles Jourdain's brother, who I'm going to talk about in a second. But Charles Jourdain at 135 looks like a menace. He looks like a menace. He's huge. He's got great striking. His guillotine is disgusting. He's got back-to-back guillotines at bantamweight right now. He's undefeated at bantamweight. Just destroyed Davy Grant in the first round. Who does that to Davy Grant? Who bloody does that to Davy Grant? But dead ass. Who does that to Davy Grant? Nobody. And Charles Jourdain made him look easy. Top contenders in the bantamweight division haven't made Grant look easy. They've scraped by with close competitive decisions where they arguably could have lost. Grant's been robbed multiple times against top-level bantamweights, and Charles Jourdain smoked him out cold with the flying knee in Vancouver. It was disgusting, nasty flying knee, and then into the guillotine, stuck his tongue out. He knew he had it. He's got the nastiest guillotine in the UFC. So I do think Charles Jourdain's going to crack that top 15 in 2026. I do believe in the Jourdain train, and he's also got his younger brother who's in the UFC now as well. So the Jourdain hype train is real. It's real. So Air Jourdain, Charles Jourdain, and then his brother Louis Jourdain, who just got into the UFC, had a great performance on Dana White Contender Series against a fighting nerd, a very dangerous fighting nerd who was hyped up, who was the favorite coming in. Louis Jourdain put him out with a submission. Had a flying knee as well. Had some nasty striking combinations. Was piecing him up. The leg kick. It was like a laser beam. Like Dana White said, it was like a laser beam. He was sniping him with leg kicks. I think it was a Diaz or something Diaz. And he was sniping him with leg kicks. Nasty leg kicks. Nice flying knees. Uppercuts. Clipped him with an uppercut. Dropped him at one point. And then in the third round, he finished the show with a beautiful no hooks in rear naked choke when the guy tried to grapple with him. The guy was trying to grapple with him the entire fight. Jourdain was piecing him up on the feet, and then he tries to grapple with him, and then Jourdain chokes him out cold in the third round. Brutal finish by Louis Jourdain. I'm super excited to see him in the UFC. He deserved the opportunity. Now, the first Canadian brothers in the UFC, both at 135, both dangerous, both nasty. If one of them loses, the other one's going to get the win for him. So you love to see it. This is what we need for Canadian MMA. This is what we need for Canadian UFC. I'm very excited to see Louis Jourdain's debut. I think he's going to do very well in the UFC. So we got Charles Jourdain, Louis Jourdain, put them on the same card as well. Like, the promotion is there. Canada is coming. I'm telling you guys. Now, this is obviously me just being a Canadian casual saying this, but Canada is coming. Oh, Canada, baby. Oh, Canada. Now, we've got one final person to talk about, Jillian Robertson. My favorite WMMA fighter. She's nasty. Jillian Robertson is nasty. She was supposed to fight Amanda Lemos last weekend, the final card of 2025. She was supposed to fight her, and Lemos pulled out literally the day of. You can't make that up. But they got rescheduled. I believe it's March 7th in the Apex, and Jill is going to put her away. I'm telling you, Jillian Robertson is the nastiest WMMA fighter. She's the nastiest fighter at this weight class. She's got finishes. She's got ground and pound TKOs. She's got submissions. She's got the most submissions in WMMA history already, which is crazy. She's still young. She's only 30. And I think she's got a bright future. When she beats Amanda Lemos, she'll be top 5. She'll be top 5, one win away from the belt. The division's kind of already wiped out as well. So honestly, she might just get that title shot. I really do believe Jillian Robertson will get a title shot in 2026. We need to see a Canadian champ, and I think she's very close to that spot. Her and Eamon Zahabi are the closest to the title. When she beats Amanda Lemos, she'll be literally one win away, if not right there at the title shot. Right there, because she's dangerous, especially if she finishes Lemos, who a lot of people haven't finished. Tatiana Suarez couldn't finish her. Lemos beat the now champ, Mackenzie Dern. She beat Mackenzie Dern. And Mackenzie Dern as champ is so weak. I feel like Jillian Robertson can beat Mackenzie Dern. I really think there is a big opening in this division for Jillian Robertson to slide in and beat Mackenzie Dern at her own game, at the ground game, which she's very good at. She excels with the takedowns, with the ground and pound, with the submissions. Jillian Robertson is nasty. She's gritty. She's the savage, and I think she's coming for that belt, boys. But those are all my UFC Canadian fighters to watch out for. Canada is coming. I'm telling you guys, Canada in 2026 is going to be live. There's going to be I believe there's going to be a Toronto numbered card. I think there's going to be a Toronto numbered card or maybe an Ontario numbered card, something like that in March, April, May. Actually, it's probably going to be April or May, but I think there's going to be a card. I'm going to be going to that card no matter what, whatever the Canadian next card is, and I'm going to be rooting for every single Canadian boy. So that's the entire video. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop it down in the comments what you guys think about Canada right now. I know I got some bias, like huge bias, and I said that, I prefixed that, but let me know what you guys have to say, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See you.